Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
And let's talk horror. Now, today we are joined by two of not only the best friends I have, but two of the sweetest people I've ever had the privilege of meeting. Over here we have Marco Estes of Midnight Social Distortion. Down here we got Bobby from Bobby Likes It Spooky. How you doing today, gentlemen?
Hey, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm happy to be here. I literally just ran over here. So I'm here.
I'm so glad to have you, man. Like, this is something I've been looking forward to. We've both been looking so forward to this. So just to let everybody know, what we're going to be doing today is ranking our favorite horror openings. Now, as always, we'll be doing a top 10. I'm a cheater pumpkin eater, so I actually have a top 12 because I have two honorable mentions. Do you have any honorable mentions, love?
I do. I have two.
What about you, Mark? Do you have any honorable mentions?
I don't know yet. We'll see.
What about you, Bobby? Do you got any honorable mentions, or you just at 10?
I have a couple. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I have a couple.
So I want to say hey to the chat real quick. We got Kyrie.
Hi,
Hey, Kyrie. Shaheem.
Hi,
I'm
Shaheem.
so glad that you're here. J-Dap, surprisingly, don't like the opening of Scream 2 as much. No, I'm shocked.
Wow.
Daniel, my dude's here. What's up, Daniel? And then Cal L. How you doing, buddy?
Guys.
So before we get started here, we'll give people a little bit of time to roll in. While we're waiting, Mark, can you tell us what you have coming up on Midnight Social Distortion?
I'm gonna finally do a review of Scream 2022 because everybody else got theirs out, and I was just waiting for everybody to get their thoughts and feelings out. And I actually wanted to let some people see it, especially in Canada. So I got that coming up, and I am currently doing Black queer horror, so characters, Black queer sci-fi characters, and Black creators on Instagram and Twitter right now.
I love watching it. I see your feeds popping up all the time, and that's what I love. I've said this so many times, but what I love about the horror community is just how inclusive it all is. And it doesn't matter if you're Black, white, straight, gay, Muslim, Christian, Democrat, Republican. We love you. You want to talk about people under the stairs? We'll talk about a huge dude in a bondage suit chasing you with a shotgun. So it's so amazing that we have all these things that we could share and talk about. What about you, Bobby, over at Bobby Likes It Spooky? What do you got coming up for us over there?
Just more reviews. I'm finally done for my break and stuff, so I'm planning on. I got a few reviews planned and some very special things happening with that. I'm just trying to get it all together in my head first, but I think it'll be cool. So I had that going on, and currently I'm still working on the podcast with my buddy Mike with the People Under the Scares podcast. So that's what we're currently doing at the moment.
It's nice to have you back from your break too. I've been waiting for some more content from you, so
more is coming.
I can't wait. Now, I know I've said this before, but I'm going to say this right now. If you have not subscribed to these gentlemen yet, their links are down here in the description. So make sure you're shooting them a sub over on their YouTube channel. And I'm going to be honest with you, you're probably going to hear me say that like 13 times tonight because they really deserve it. I love working with these guys. They have some of the best channels that are out there. So before we get started, Shaheem says, I didn't have a lot of time to prep my list, so it'll be a top 10 completely off the top of my head. That's completely fine. So, I will get us started with my honorable mentions. I have two of them. My first honorable mention is not a huge fan of the movie, but The Gallows, Charlie. Okay. I do love that opening when you're watching them at the play and Charlie actually gets hanged up on the stage. I think that's a very powerful opening to a not very well made movie, but I do love that opening very much. So that's my first honorable mention. My second honorable mention, I couldn't have a list without this movie. Honey, come on over here, Sugar Buns. This machine just called me an asshole. Maximum Overdrive has to be on my honorable mentions. When you watch the bridge go up and the watermelons and the Stephen King cameo I just talked about. Again, not the best made movie, but I have a soft spot in my heart for that movie, and especially the Stephen King cameo, because me and my cousins used to say that this machine just called me an asshole to each other all the time. So if Josh Miller's seen that I made a list and I didn't include that movie for our favorite openings, he'd beat the shit out of me. So I had to put that one on there. You want to give us your honorable mentions, babe?
Yeah, so I have two as well. One of them is The Ring from 2002. You have 7 days. I just love how she goes and opens the door, and then you hear that like loud pitch noise, and it, her face turns white and her mouth opens wide. I love, actually, I mean, the whole part, like the beginning
Right.
of that is good. And then I have The Conjuring with Annabelle's creepy face, and then you kind of get like the backstory from the three girls of how that little girl went into Annabelle, and they start having creepy stuff happening, and so they throw her away, but you can't throw Annabelle away. I think that's super creepy too.
Raggedy Ann always finds a way back home.
She does.
So, what about you, Mark? Did you say you did have an honorable mention or no?
No, I don't have one at the moment. It's just I think you guys took most of them though, but so I don't have one at the moment. But
what about you, Bobby? You said you do or you don't?
I do. I have 3.
Okay.
I'll be quick. So one of them is Urban Legend. I love that opening. It's suspenseful but also pretty funny, and I just have a soft spot for that movie in my heart, and it's just a fun opening to me, especially with Dad Dorif screaming, "You forgot to check the back seat!" It's great.
I love that opening. I love that one.
He's the stutter.
Yeah.
Back seat.
There's that one. I also have Return of the Living Dead. Because that opening as a kid forever just scarred me, especially just seeing the corpse, like its face all melting and just and then the music, the iconic theme song for Return of the Living Dead just gets me every time, so I love it. And then my last one is I'll pick Get Out on here because I picked Get Out as only because it was going to actually make it on my list, but I still want to add this as an honorable mention only because many times as a Black man just walking down the street and you sometimes just it was very relatable. That's all I'm gonna say. That scene was very relatable, and not that anything actually happened to me like that, but you just like just saying. So yeah, I had to add that as an honorable mention because it's still a freaky and creepy and actually very realistic scene for me. So I had to add that in there.
That's so heartbreaking, and that's the thing. Like we talk about how horror is inclusive and we're all so proud of each other and happy for each other, but that's not a feeling that I've ever had to feel being a straight white man. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to put anybody down or try to make anybody feel less than me. That's not who I am.
Right.
I just it sucks that I've never been scared to walk down the street because of what might be said or what might happen to me. And to know 2 of my good friends have had that fear and still have that fear. It's just I can't wait for the day when we can move past that evil,
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that you have. I mean, it affects you, and I get it, but that's not the way I want these movies to affect you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not the effect we're going for.
Yeah.
Before we get into our actual list, let's catch up on the chat real quick. Sean says Scream 1 and 2 for me, then the Friday remake, A Nightmare on Elm Street with him making the glove. Very nice. Honorable mention, The Shining, the music, the Big Scary Lake, the overhead tracking shot. What a great choice, Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Christine's a great one. The guy smoking the cigar in the car. What happened to him? Shaheem says The Conjuring, Annabelle, and The Ring. Good job. Don't like the movie, but the opening of Seed at Chucky is good. Rest of the movie, not so much. I mean, Seed at Chucky is the worst one of the bunch, but I still love that movie. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I hope Scream is on the list. Very good chance it is.
At least one of them.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all. Ken. What's up, Lewis? How you doing, buddy? And those two are having a great conversation. So we are going to actually get into our top 10. And I'm going to say it again, guys. If you have not yet subscribed to their channels, down here in the description. If this is your first time here at Sledgehammer Horror, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you along for the ride. So, my love, would you like to start us off with your number 10?
Yeah, number 10 for me is Lights Out. This opening had me so anxious the whole time watching it.
When the lights are coming out of
Yeah, so it's like a mostly like dark like warehouse that he works in, and there's like certain parts of it are lit, and every time a light turns off, you see this creepy like witch monster, and she can only get him in the dark. So he's like trying to run from her, and she snatches him when he falls, or I don't know if she snatches him and then he falls, but He gets into his office and the light is on, but of course the light's got to turn off,
No,
right? Yeah.
no.
And so she, she gets him and kills him and then lays him in the light. And it's just such a creepy scene. I really like that one.
I really wish I would have
That's
thought of
nice.
that. That's such a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Mark? What comes in at number 10 for you?
This is kind of modern, modern but yet retro, and it almost made it to like the mentionable. But since Bobby took one of mine, I had to slide it into the main thing. But Fear Street 1994.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of reasons, because we know there was an homage to Scream, but
Yeah.
for me as a Fear Street fan, and for me being of the 90s, I think all of us are here are 90s teens, right?
Mhm.
All of us here are 90s teens, so it just hit everything, like a bookstore in the mall with Nine Inch Nails playing in the background.
Yeah.
It was just a perfect opening, and I was literally in the house watching that with a bunch of snacks, like I was like 13 all over again, watching this scene play out. So that was a great acting scene. The actress names escapes me. I know she is Ethan Hawke's daughter. I can't remember her first name though. Is it Maya Hawke?
Maya Hawke.
Yeah, she did it. She gave me everything I needed, and I think that's gonna be one of the. It's for the modern kids. It's gonna be one of the great openings for.
I love that.
Great choice.
Yeah, absolutely great choice. What about you, Bobby? What's number 10 for you, my friend?
Oh, okay. My number 10 is Child's Play 2.
Oh, okay.
All right. So reason. I mean, there's nothing creepy or crazy happening in that opening scene, but for me, watching them rebuild Chucky and scraping the char off of him. And again, I'm a big fan of soundtracks and score and music and movies, and just all of that while that was happening was just so good to me, and I just loved it. And it just sounds so creepy to me. So I sometimes even watch Child's Play 2 just to watch that opening scene for me. I love it. So that's my number 10. It's something that I just love.
Nice.
So I'm going to take your 2 and drop that off there. And I'm just going to say Child's Play as my number 10.
Oh.
Charles Lee Ray running from Detective Mike Norris and, give it up, Chucky, it's over, Charles. He's getting shot, and then he's like, I got to get out of this body. And he sees the doll. Ade, Dewey, Dembella, that whole opening to me is just so awesome. And then you get the lightning strike in the store and the big explosion coming out. So number 10 for me is absolutely Child's Play. So before we move on to number 9, let's catch up on the chat real quick. William's here. What's up, buddy?
Hi, William.
Honorable mention the Fog opening with the sea captain telling the story of the ship and her drowned
Good
crew.
one.
Very nice. Shaheem, number 10, Seed of Chucky. Gwen's opening gave me nightmares as a kid. You're pissing your pants.
You're kissing your pants.
My lift shifts all the time, but 10 would be the Curse of the Demon from 57 with the guy driving into the power poles and the demon showing up. Very nice. Blade, not sure if it's considered horror. Definitely considered horror. It's a vampire hunter. Totally horror to me. But again, awesome techno music. Wesley Snipes in his prime. Bloodbath. Blade is one of the most underrated horror superhero stories of all time. Like, they say like Spider-Man started off the superhero trend. No, Blade kicked off the superhero trend, and I will stick by that till the day I die. Until they brought Triple H in. When they brought the game in, I was like, all right. But I think Blade totally started off the superhero thing. Sean, Friday the 13th, 80 with the killing of the counselors. Very nice. Lewis, Christine or Elm Street 1. Child's Play 3. God, it's my favorite Child's Play. I love it. But the original one with Brad Dourif just topped it for me. Blade, yes. Totally agree. So, Mark, would you like to start us off with your number 9?
Okay. The Lost Boys.
Oh.
Yes. The Lost Boys. Because Bobby knows. Bobby already knows my love for the Lost Boys. Because they changed it in recent years because of Warner Brothers, but when you hear that logo and then you hear the Cry Little Sister like the chanting, and then you get thrown into the opening of the ocean, and then it expands up, and then the music starts playing. It's just like you're safe for another hour and 30 minutes, and you're calmed down. And as a kid, it was like that. You as a kid, certain things would like grab your attention.
Mhm.
And that scene, that hearing that my cousin was playing it for the first time, it grabbed my attention because I love the song. I love I'm like, what is this? I started, walked over there and sat there and watched it with them and became a fan instantly. And so when the security guard gets snatched up, I was like, oh shit, what's going on? So, but it was just like, you knew that it was just like, I don't know. As you get older, and you start to realize that you're part of, you're seeing the viewpoint of the actual Lost Boys as they're flying to dinner. It's just like, it's amazing. It's a timeless classic.
Love that movie. We need to rewatch it.
Yes.
I haven't watched that in a while, so we need to rewatch that one. Yeah. What about you, Bobby? What comes in at number 9 for you?
Number 9 for me is Dream Warriors. A Nightmare on Elm Street 3. I had that Dream Warriors on here because for me, I mean, come on, the original is always going to be iconic, but this is like second for me.
Yeah.
And I remember also as a kid watching this and just watching, is it Kristen?
Yep.
I think that's her name.
Yes.
Kristen go through the house, and then Freddie going after her, and then her with the doll, even though it's supposed to be a little girl, but you for sure know that was a doll. And then she's running through there with her, and just that whole scene was just great. It was very nightmare fueled. So, Dream Warriors. Yes.
Very nice.
That was one of mine too, Bobby. Damn.
I'm just taking all your shit.
Number 9 for me has been talked about in the chat, and I think it's one of the best openings to any Friday the 13th film, and that is the Friday the 13th remake from 2009.
Yes.
That shit is so great. I mean, when you have Jason hitting the machete into the guy's head and then kicking him off, get off my knife, bitch. Bam! Like, there's so much great, these kids going out to the woods to find this weed, and then you run into Jason fucking Voorhees.
Yeah.
So, Jason in the remake to me is the most brutal he's been in any film. He's scary. He's a survivalist. There's just so much good about that remake, and it all starts with that opening. So, number 9 for me is Friday the 13th, 09.
Okay.
What about you, my love?
Number 9 for me is The Invisible Man. So that whole opening scene had me on the edge of my seat.
Are you talking the new one?
The new one. Yeah,
Okay.
the new one. She's trying to escape her husband, and she keeps looking back to see if he's awake, and she's packing all her stuff, and she already had everything strategically planned out. And then she gets out into the garage and hits the car, and the alarm goes off, and it's like, shit, she's gonna wake him up. But she gets away. And I just, like I said, I was on the edge of my seat for that whole 5 minutes or whatever it is.
And he did a great job as a villain in that movie because he's such a likable actor.
Yeah.
And you see him as this scary womanizer, woman beater, and it's just like, wow, stop it. Go back to Hill House, you son of a bitch. So before we move on to our number 8s, I would like to catch up on the chat again. Shaheem says, number 9, Freddy vs. Jason. Freddy manipulating Jason as his mother was a perfect way to get the movie going and eventually get them together to fight.
Absolutely.
Very good choice. Happy Valentine's Day with the Miner and the Girl in the Mines. My Bloody Valentine, I think. Isn't that My Bloody Valentine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. A Nightmare on Elm Street by a country mile, the best Elm Street movie. Second favorite horror of all time behind Scream, the opening of it with Georgie's death. We may talk about that again. I'm not 100% sure. Number 9, 7 in my top. Yeah, 7 is an amazing film. And I have people that try to tell me it's not a horror film. And I'm like, listen, if you're going to consider Silence of the Lambs a horror movie,
Thank you.
You better fucking consider 7 a horror movie.
Thank you.
Like, come on, man. Like, that's such a horror movie. If someone cut her fucking head off and put it in a box, what's in the fucking box? I'd be attitude. So, absolutely a horror movie. And Daniel, I'm a huge fan of that movie too. So, I absolutely agree with that. So, Bobby, you want to start us off at number 8?
Yes. So my number 8 is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Okay.
Nothing else. And given See, I'm happy that I made this. Well, I'm not happy, but given what's going on with Sherry Moon Zombie currently,
Yeah.
I'm a little annoyed. But she's not in the opening, so that's what don't matter. But that's what matters. So the opening of this was very, very brutal to me. Again, I grew to love Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Like in the beginning, I had a love-hate relationship with it. But as I got older, I learned to respect what he was trying to do with this film, make it his own vision. And I will say that Rob Zombie's vision and his cinematography and all that is great. So in this opening scene right here, you thinking the whole time that this is real life. Laurie going through the hospital and Michael's chasing her and she falling to dead bodies, and it's a whole bunch of chaos happening. Then all of a sudden it's a dream. I low key was upset that it was a dream. I wish it was real, but we already had our Laurie and Michael chasing the hospital before, so I see what he was trying to do. But that scene to me was crazy. So I had to add this to my number 8.
I still have to watch the theatrical cut of that film.
Okay.
I've seen the unrated cut, and
it's much better.
Yeah, see, I didn't like the unrated cut, and everybody tells me, like, you have to watch the theatrical cut. The theatrical cut
The
is so
only
much
thing...
better.
No, I think it's the opposite for me. The unrated is better because you get to dig more into why Laurie is the way she is. You can tell in the theatrical cut something's been trimmed. You can tell that they edit the hell out of that. The only part that I wish that they switched with was the very end. I hated the ending of the unrated version, how they got rid of Michael. I wish that they swapped the theatrical cut with the unrated version. I prefer that. But as far as character development and the kills and stuff, it's much brutal in the unrated version.
It drives me fucking banana sandwich to hear Michael say, "Die!"
I hate that so much. I hate it.
Yeah.
That's why the theatrical version is much better. Like that. Well, the ending to that is much better because you don't hear die.
Somebody just can't get behind that.
Yeah, I hate that so much.
So my number 8 is my 8th favorite opening, but my favorite horror movie, and that is House from 1986.
Hey.
You have the grocery boy taking the groceries to Mrs. Hooper. You know, he's calling in the house trying to get paid. Mrs. Hooper, I got your groceries. He walks upstairs, and then you see her hanging in that room. And one of the first jump scares, and still one of my favorite jump scares ever. So, a movie I absolutely had to put on this list because it hooked me right from the beginning. I knew I was a horror fan the minute I watched this film. And this first 5 minutes of this film changed the trajectory of my life for the better. So, House 1986, absolutely number 8 for me. What's number 8 for you, my love?
Number 8 for me is Ghost Ship.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I love how they're all on the, having a great time, and then you see that razor thin wire, like, just take out the whole crowd, except for a little girl who was spared because of her height.
The one that should got
it. Right.
Yeah. And then, they all just kind of, like, slide in half. Yeah. I think that opening is like...
so good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So good.
Like, jaw-dropping for me. So, yeah.
Good choice.
Thank you.
What about you, Mark? You're number 8.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one out of my list because the rest of the list is kind of predictable. But it's The Hunger.
Ooh, yes.
Because a lot of people do not give that movie its flowers. And I remember seeing the opening of The Hunger in a music video because MTV used to air the Bauhaus version of the opening of The Hunger as a music video. And I remember late at night watching, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, this is a movie. And I'm like, because it was a shoddy cut and paste work because they literally had like the title of the movie in the video and like The Hunger starring David Bowie, Susan Sarandon, and Catherine Deneuve. And I'm like, I have to find this movie. And when I finally found it and realized that was the opening of the movie, it was amazing because Bela Lugosi's Dead is an iconic goth song, and it's just amazing. And going from that scene in the goth club and to the house that the Blaylocks take their victims to, and then you see the reveal in this killing, it's just like, I love this movie. This is everything that I want. It's so I just think that any way I could get more attention put on The Hunger, I'm going to do it. And so I just think it's one of the most underrated movies of all time, and that opening is just iconic to me. So
Yes, I love
Great
that you picked
choice.
that.
Yeah. So we will now catch up on the chat real quick. Sean says, I met Nightmare on Elm Street 3 as a favorite, but A Nightmare on Elm Street 84 is 5th. Horror movie behind Vampires 98 and Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter. Another great film. That it's funny. A Nightmare or Friday the 13th Part 4 is what taught me how to dance. So
That's true.
that's where I got,
Wow.
Our daughters had to dance.
that's where I got my sick moves.
Yeah.
Shout out to Crispin Glover.
yes, God.
Word on the street about Crispin Glover is he's a dead fuck. I don't know if it's true. The computer said it was true, but I can't testify. William says number 8, Ghost Ship,
Right.
with the dance and the cable that whips around the deck in that finale. Too bad the rest doesn't. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. This is where Sean broke my heart. House 1986. Watched it, thought it was bad. Shaheem, number 8, Halloween Christmas, Michael Myers theatrical cut. The dark gothic atmosphere and Jamie Lloyd's death really set the tone for how dark and brutal Michael and the film was going to be. I wish we could have had Danielle Harris, but I do love that scene. That's a great scene. Alien 79, great choice. Like Kubrick with The Shining, Scott and a creepy soundtrack introduced us to the scariest character in the film, the actual ship. Love that. And Sean, by the way, was joking. He is yet to watch it, bought it. It's on the watch list for the next few weeks. Sean, for a minute there, I was heartbroken. I was like, how can you not like it? Child's Play 1988, great opening. Yes, it is. I need to find that program that detects dead fuckiness. I love that. Let me check the computer. So we are now up to our number 7. And I have a feeling this may be on a couple more lists. And it is a little low on mine. And it could have been a little higher. But you can either take the 1990 miniseries or the 2017 opening film. And that would be it.
Yeah.
This is a movie where obviously it spawned a lot of fear in all of us as kids. But even the 2017 actual theatrical release of the film did that scene a lot of justice. I'm not a big fan of the 25-foot arms that stretch out and grab Georgie. But to actually finally see what we all knew happened back in the made-for-TV version, to actually watch that come out and, bite his arm off, it was one of those things where it's like, I knew he was going to bite the fucking arm off. I knew that's what he did. So for me, it absolutely has to be it. What about you?
Yes.
We're on number 7, right?
Yep.
Number 7 is Final Destination 2.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I didn't think of that.
they're on Route 23. Kimberly's freaking out about her car. Her friend's like, "You're fine. You'll be okay." Then you see that little boy with like the semi in the car, and he's like, hitting them together. And then all of a sudden, and then you see the rest of the cast, throughout their cars. And then that strap breaks, and all those logs start coming out, and it's just chaos. And that I still do not drive behind, like a log truck. Like, no, I'm either gonna like go around them or let some other people get, I'm getting ahead of them.
You can die, people. I'll stay behind
I gotta get ahead somehow. But yeah, that's an awesome start, and then you find out that she envisioned it, and
Premonition. Good choice. Final Destination 2, huh?
Yeah, Final Destination 2.
God, that's a good choice.
I mean, 1 is okay with the plane and stuff, but I think 2 is much better.
You know what? I agree with you. I think 1 is awesome. I think 2 is great. That's a good choice. Final Destination 2. Good choice.
Thank you.
What about you, Mark? What comes in at number 7?
Number 7.
Number 7 for you.
I'm gonna throw it out there for Bobby Snatches, but Scream 2.
All right, real quick. I had Scream 2 on my list, but I took it off because I thought you was going to have it on there.
I'm looking at my list now, and I'm pretty sure all 4 of our lists are like similar from this point on. But Scream, because it was on mine too.
Same.
But Scream 2, because it puts you in the middle of this chaos. Because I remember going to see I think it was one of the because they used to let kids in my hometown go see any type of little horror movie. They didn't care. I could come up and be like, I want one for Demon Night. Here you go. And I would go up in there and would be nobody would blink an eye or anything in my small town. So it was just I went in there to see, I think it was Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, and I was always nervous about somebody wearing a mask in this damn theater. And so when Scream 2 came out, I was like, my fears have been realized on screen. And the reason why it's even more iconic now, especially given the fact that Jada Pinkett gave us that whole spiel about, how Black people always bite it first in a horror movie. And they played on it and gave us an iconic opening scene. And in the way that it happened, it was just, I mean, I can go on, I can do a whole podcast episode about the opening scene because it's just
Well,
so
we're gonna have to
iconic.
do that sometime.
I thought about that. I thought about that. But yeah, that Scream 2 is mine because I didn't go to the theaters for a long time after that.
Yeah.
Great choice. What about you, my friend? What about you, Bobby?
You guys already said it. Well, Ash said it. My number 7 is Ghost Ship. Everything that you said, I don't know what else to say about it. It's just that opening, again, it's iconic opening. Saudi. I remember watching that as a kid and just my mouth was on the floor.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't expecting to see that string just take everybody out and then just seeing the bodies just hit the floor and it was just a lot. But like you're right, the rest of the movie is crap. But one of the best openings ever. So yeah, I had to add this on there. Mm-hmm.
So awesome. So we will catch up on the chat real quick before we go back. Number 7, House of Wax. Yes, the Vincent Price one where you think he's a nice guy, then the fire, he's not okay. I love that because the guy comes in like, hey, we can each get money for insurance if we burn this place down. And Vincent Price is like, no, these are not mannequins. This is my art. You can't burn down my art.
Right.
And then the fire. Great choice, William. That is what an underrated movie. And you got the remake and everything, but that original House of Wax, what an amazing film. I love it so much. In 2007 is better. It actually ripped Georgie's arm off. Sick stuff. I agree. Friday remake has an intense opening. I agree. And the superior, second only to Army of Darkness, Evil Dead remake. Oh, very nice. I forgot about Final Destination 2. I love all the openings. Even 4 is decent. Even though 4 is hot garbage. I agree.
Thank you.
American Psycho. From the opening, this guy is out of his mind. But is he? Hey, Paul! House of 1,000 Corpses with the gas station robbery. What I love that's if I had to choose my favorite Rob Zombie film, that would be it.
Yeah.
I would choose House of 1,000 Corpses.
Yes.
Shaheem, number 7, A Quiet Place. The alien killing the little boy within the first 10 minutes or so really set the idea that these alien creatures weren't playing any games if you made the smallest of noises. Maybe the kid should listen.
True.
So
that's true.
My daughter would be fucked.
Oh, yeah. She talks so much. We'd be like, shh, shh.
Like my daughter, that'd be a wrap.
Yeah.
Like she'd be the first one the aliens would take.
That's so true.
And the whole time they were taking her, she'd be like, "You know what you're doing right now? You have any idea what's going on right now? This is bullshit. Go back to my parents."
That's so true.
You want to start us off with number 6, my love?
Yeah. So number 6 for me is Jaws. I feel like I had to add this because it's such a fear of being in the ocean, and swimming. So she's in the ocean, she's naked, she swims way out far. And then you see like the beneath shot of her legs under the water. And then you just see her getting pulled down and then nothing. She's just gone.
Yeah.
And I just think it's amazing. And that is another fear of mine. We went to the ocean last summer and I kept telling my kids, you're going out too far. Get back. Come on.
Yeah.
So
she got stung by a jellyfish. I was like, I'll pee on it.
Yeah. He was gonna pee on my leg. I was like, yeah, that's not.
I would do that to save your life.
I'm sure you would.
I was risky. I was putting it out there to save you.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
You just gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. That's love, man. Love is if you get stung by a jellyfish, I'll pee on you.
I was like, it'll burn. I don't think that's on me.
You were about to feel the love, but you wouldn't let me save you.
No.
What about you, Mark? What comes in at number 6 for you, brother?
I'm gonna go back and do there was an honorable mention for somebody. Get Out, because it flipped the script. It kind of was pseudo sequel to the Scream 2 opening, because you have like this black guy in this neighborhood and he's like, it's kind of like suspect, and then I'm sitting here like, what's gonna happen to him? Is he gonna... And then you realize that he's the one being followed and he's the one being attacked, and then you're just like, oh my god, what happened to him? I remember the theater that I was in, like everybody was like in complete shock when it happened, and so it set the tone for what was coming up. So Get Out.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
What a fantastic movie. To this day, we talk about Jordan Peele and his production, and I can't wait to see what they do when Jordan Peele has finally got the green light and we get the People Under the Stairs remake with Jordan Peele.
Oh, yeah.
That's something I'm very excited about.
excited
So, what about you, Bobby? What comes in at number 6 for you?
Number 6 for me is Darkness Falls. Do y'all remember that with the Tooth Fairy?
With the
Oh, the Tooth Fairy.
Right?
Yeah.
That opening is
We
amazing.
just watched that about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. Opening, creepy. I remember watching it. I think I was a teenager watching it. And just, I can't imagine being a child and you running from this. You don't know what it is at the time. And you obviously have to stay in a room where it's light. So he's stuck in this bathroom. And then that shot, when it pans back, you just see her or see it at the time, just on the top of it. You don't know exactly what it is. And it's just, it freaked me out. And the way she hisses and just, chill. I don't like it. But that always creeped me out. That, to me, that was one of the openings that I felt that was super effective. So yeah, number 6 is Darkness Falls.
And you got to think about it. You're like, I just lost a tooth, and now you're gonna lay this shit on me?
Yeah.
Right.
I just wanted a fucking quarter. Like, what the hell?
Right.
And then I'm
What's
getting
up?
accused of killing my mother.
Right.
Right.
So, number 6 for me has already been mentioned in the chat by Manzano Roja, and it is the Evil Dead remake.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this open.
Yes.
You know, when she's tied to the beam and she's like, Daddy, why are you doing this? Where's Mommy? Like, you killed Mommy. And then, you know, she's like, I'll swallow your soul, Daddy. And then, I'll swallow your fucking soul. It's like, oh, shit.
Right.
You know, like, I just think that's such a great opening. You know, the eyes. You know, we got her eyes. And I'm a huge fan of the Evil Dead remake as is.
Yeah.
I think the Evil Dead remake is superior to the original Evil Dead. Not Evil Dead 2. I think Evil Dead 2 is probably the best in that franchise, in my opinion. But I do like the remake more than I like the original of that film or of that franchise. And again, it all starts with that brutal opening of a father having to not only burn his daughter, but to shoot her, you know, blow her head off with that shotgun and
save her soul.
Yeah, save her soul. It's such a dark opening, but an amazing one. So I'm gonna have to go with Evil Dead 2013.
That's a great one. I love that movie so much, and just the way it looks is just so good.
I'm excited for the new one.
Yeah, Evil Dead Rise is gonna be great.
I can't wait.
Oh yes. Okay.
I'm ready for that.
We will catch up on the chat real quick. Aubrey Walters says Sister19 LOL dot online.
Nice.
Just ignore that one, guys. I just wanted to have some fun.
I'm about to say sure.
6, even though most folks love Dawn, I love the opening of 1985's Day of the Dead with the lady looking at the calendar. Oh my gosh, yeah, with the arms coming through. That's so great.
Yes.
Such a fantastic opening. I'm actually kind of pissed off. I didn't think of that one. I love that opening. Shaheem, number 6, Matthew Lillard's 13 Ghost, the whole gothic spooky tone at the beginning as well, showing how brutal as hell the Juggernaut is.
That's a great choice. I didn't think of that
when
one
they're in the
either.
junkyard. And, what a great opening. Hey, what's up, Nathan? Thanks for stopping out, my friend. Me and Nathan had a talk earlier about rap, and I told him I enjoy Juice WRLD, and he was like, "Wow, you're old. That surprises me." And I was like,
The only reason he knows who Juice WRLD is because we have a 13.
Yeah, my 13-year-old totally introduced me to Juice WRLD. I love Juice WRLD conversations. It's so dope. Like, you know, I love it. Me and Nathan was like, "Wow, you're old." I was like, "Hey, you're lucky I love you, buddy." No, Nathan's a great guy.
He is old.
Daniel says number 6, The Vivitch. It's not your typical horror opening. That's why I liked it. Great opening.
Yeah.
What about the opening to Fright Night or The Howling? I love both.
Yes.
You have to stay tuned. Nathan lost his list. The most respectful way, Ken. Dude, I'm totally messing with you. I totally took it with a grain of salt. I get what you're saying, but I do. I love Juice WRLD. The only reason I know who Juice WRLD is, and I felt like such a dick because like me and my 13-year-old finally connected on something. I was like, wow, this is really cool. I was like, you want to go see him in concert? He was like, he's dead. You dickhead. I was like, oh, damn. I'm so sorry, dude. Like, we finally had something. So we will start with number 5, and I will toss this. Oh, and Nathan, while you say that, this was on my list, buddy. And obviously, if you stay until the end, we're going to recap our list. Nathan's number 1 was Friday the 13th remake. That is on my list as well. So we will recap them at the end so you can check out what we missed. Mark, would you like to start us off with your number 5?
Us.
Oh.
Because it's one of those movies that you didn't know what was going to happen. So when you sat down and you was in the theater, and I had a cousin who was a non-horror fan, and so as we see the little girl venture off, and then you see all the stuff that transpires, and it's like, oh crap. And with the Jordan Peele movie, you too busy trying to look for like Easter eggs and stuff like that. And I was hearing them saying like, oh, they're filming a movie over there. That's the same place they shot the Lost Boys during that time period. So I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then for her to get snatched like that, it was just like, what happened? Did it screw her up or something like that? But
every parent's worst nightmare.
Worst nightmare. Yeah. Yeah. So it was a great opening, and it's subtle but effective. You know what I'm saying? It didn't have to be big on like gore and like screaming scores and stuff like that. It was just like, it's very subtle and very effective.
Very good choice. What about you, Bobby? What comes at number 5 for you?
All right, so I'm warning y'all, the rest of this list is going to be super predictable from 5
Same.
going to 1. So I'm just warning y'all,
It's
you know.
Ours probably is too.
Yep.
So number 5 is Halloween 1978. Iconic opening. Have to add this on here. I would not be a fan if I didn't add this on the list, so I just had to sneak it in there. It's one of those OG openings where you see the killer from his point of view, and all of a sudden you get the iconic score. He's stabbing his sister in the tit, and then leaves, and then go outside, and then you get that pullback shot. You see the appearance. It's such an iconic opening, and I love it so much. So had to add Halloween.
So my number 5. Halloween 1978. So,
you see each other.
Now you're right. You know, like this is a movie that I feel like there's absolutely no way that I couldn't include this, even though I'm not the biggest Halloween fan. I know. I'm sorry. It's definitely
that's the look I give him too.
Every time I say it.
And you live with him, so
Bobby will be at work some days, and all of a sudden he's just like, fuck, can't talk about Halloween. So it's just one of those things where this movie, you know, especially this opening really started, you know, you have an evil child in a clown outfit that goes up and kills his sister because he wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, there's never that reason. There's that, like they say in Scream, there's no motive. It's the millennium, you know, like it's one of those things where he's fucking crazy. That's what it is. That's why he did it, because he's crazy. And it's just fun. It's great. It's a great opening. As a little boy, I got to see boobies, so I like it. And that's it for me. So number 5 for me is definitely OG Halloween. What about you, my love?
All right. So speaking of every parent's worst nightmare, number 5 for me is Split.
Ooh.
So
Wow.
you know, the dad's putting the presents into the trunk, and he
Yeah.
attacks him, and then gets in the car, and then like aerosolizes like a sedative and like steals the girls. That is such a creepy like beginning, and it scared the shit out of me, especially as
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I was just talking about that movie today at work. It's so good.
Yeah. Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, we were big fans of that
Oh,
movie.
yeah,
Big
absolutely.
fans of that movie. So that's everybody. That was number 5 and Mark's. Yep. So we will catch up on the chat real quick before we go into number 4. Candyman 21 is on my list somewhere. That's fair. 5, It Follows, with the camera following the girl outside her house, getting in the car, and then going to the beach, saying goodbye. Her leg twisted like that. Oh, it's so gross.
Yeah, cringe.
Lewis agrees with you with Jaws. I may be on someone else's list a little higher. We'll have to see. Shaheem also says Darkness Falls. The whole opening royally fucked me up with the Tooth Fairy.
Yes.
She was just something else scary to me as a child. Since then, I've been obsessed with the film. See, what sucks for that is like I didn't grow up with this. So like, if my mom would have been like, put your tooth under the tooth pillow or under your tooth pillow.
Your tooth pillow.
Put your tooth under the pillow so the Tooth Fairy can come out. If I'm like, no.
Right.
Like you never put your tooth under the pillow.
I've never lost any teeth. I still got my baby teeth. That's why they're so small.
This is true.
So
I was like,
yeah.
what kind of childhood did you have?
Go get your tooth pillow now. So, all right, guys. So we will go on to our number 4, and that will be my friend Bobby starting us off with his number 4.
Okay. My number 4 is Friday the 13th remake, 09, I believe.
Yep.
Had to add this in here too. You thought I said something else, Mark? You thought the OG?
No, I just thought you were gonna take one of mine, but go ahead.
I'm not finished yet, my friend. But yeah, this going into the theater and watching this, you actually forget that we didn't even get the title credit yet. Watching all of this go down, and then when you finally see Friday the 13th, you're like, wait, that was it? Like, we're just getting started. It was just so good and graphic, and just seeing how I guess vicious Jason was and how fast he is and stuff, and just oh my gosh, like I didn't experience a killer like watching that on TV. So I was just in the theater just like, yo, this dude is insane. And that opening was just all that. And like you said, Ken, earlier with the machete going inside the bull's head and kicking him off and then chasing after the girl and then it cuts off. It was just so good. One of my faves.
You want to talk about Chef's Kiss?
Yeah.
Yes.
That opening. I do want to say these 10 openings, usually it's really easy for us to come up with lists, and sometimes it's hard to do certain things on lists. The hardest part for me was the order of these lists, because every single one of these movies the openings are so good that coming up with the exact order was probably the hardest part for me. But coming in at number 4 for me, the death of a child due to a very hearing alien. I don't know how else to say it. A Quiet Place. You know, I love A Quiet Place. I love the whole movie. John Krasinski did an amazing job in this film. But you know, that ultimate heartbreak of the kid turning on the rocket and, you know, John Krasinski running at full speed, trying to stop it, and then just barely missing his son and watching him getting taken and killed. And the big thing for me is like, you took one. I got the other 2 here. I still got to feed. You could have taken them too. Yeah, they're still here. Come get the other 2. For me, I mean, I genuinely really enjoyed this movie, and this is one of the few horror movies that broke my heart a couple different times watching it. The opening, the ending, the other 2 kids surviving. There's a lot of sadness wrapped up in this movie. But that opening is very intense. And as a parent, you know, you obviously would trade yourself for that kid. And he's trying to so bad. And he actually makes amends for that at the end when he tells his daughter, you know, I love you. I've always loved you. And then he sacrifices himself to the alien. And one of the most beautiful, you get the opening of him losing a child that he couldn't save. And then at the ending, you have him sacrificing himself to save his children. So all joking aside, it's a very heartbreaking film. John Krasinski is amazing. And so number 4 for me, A Quiet Place. What about you, my love?
So this has already been mentioned. Number 4 for me is It. And I chose 2017 just because I love the interaction between Georgie and Pennywise. You know, how you get to see actually him killing him, and you know, his arm gets bitten off and he's bleeding in the street as it's raining and going down into the sewer. So even though I love the original, I had to go with 2017 for this one.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember first watching that in theaters, and that part, because I think we all knew that was coming. But we just didn't know how it was going to be presented.
Exactly.
Right.
And then when we seen how like it happened with Pennywise grabbing it, and then you see Georgie just like crawling for his life, and then that was so sad. Oh my gosh.
Right.
It really was. Yeah.
And then to see the person on the porch barely seeing what had just happened, it was just like, Oh God.
Yeah.
What are we on?
I did it.
Okay.
2017.
And now we got Mark to do his number 4.
Number
Yep.
4.
I'm
yeah.
trying to debate going back and forth. So praying that nobody takes the one I'm not gonna go with the next round, but I'm gonna go with Halloween H2O.
Oh.
Because by this time, as a horror fan in the late 90s, you kind of know that the opening person that you see in a slasher movie is the opening kill.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to open up on Marion Chambers, I remember seeing this like, they are not about to do this to Marion Chambers, who is a fucking iconic member of the Halloween franchise.
Right.
So not only to see her and then also see Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I'm like, oh God, that was tense. That was just a suspense-filled opening, and even to this day, I'm like, Marion, just get in your car and leave.
Just go.
Just go. You went through so much shit to just sit here and get taken out like this. And Mike was like, yeah, I know you. You were the one that was in that car. I gotta take your ass out. So it was just like, damn. That is a great opening in the Halloween franchise.
Because that opening, it's funny too. You know, when he comes outside after they steal the beer, he's like, "Hey, whoever was in there really did a number on your kids."
Right.
The only thing I wish we could have gotten to see Michael put the ice skate into his face. I think that would have been really cool to see. But that's a great choice, Mark.
Yes, Mark.
So that is everybody's number 4. So Shaheem says number 4, Scream 96. There's nothing more horrifyingly iconic than Drew Barrymore's long-lasting call with Ghostface, to the point where it goes from subtle to a whole traumatic bloodshed within 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. There's a strong chance we may talk about this film again.
Yes.
But until then, I will start us off with number 3. And my number 3 is a movie that I don't think gets enough credit for being a great film all around. And anytime I talk about this movie with anybody, they talk about the opening, which is justified because it's a great opening. But for me, it is The Collection. Now, the opening of this film starts at a club. You know, you got a bunch of people in the club. This is the sequel to The Collector. If you haven't seen these two movies, The Collector and The Collection, I can't recommend these movies enough. They're so good. And
I've seen the first one, but not the second.
Oh, you got to check it out.
I haven't seen either one.
Oh, guys, they're so good. Like, I'm going to spoil the opening for you. I'm sorry, but you got to check them out. The Collector is this guy that collects people. He kidnaps people. He collects people. Well, in this one, and he's scary. He is scary. Like, and in this movie, you got everybody in the club, and then all of a sudden, like, this combine wheel starts and comes down and just mows through everybody in the club. Just blood, arms, dicks, everything just spraying everywhere. You know, it's like not. And you think the one girl, you think she got out of it, you think she survived, only for the Collector to grab her and put her in a box. That's our opening. So The Collector and The Collection, if you have not seen these films, I can't recommend them enough. Yes. They're supposed to be The Collected, the last part of the trilogy coming out. So Josh Stewart is in it. Josh Stewart does a phenomenal job as an anti-hero. So yeah, that had to do it for me. What's number 3 for you, my love?
So number 3 for me is actually Scream. So this long 13-minute sequence, we find out all the rules of horror movies has now changed. The biggest star in the film, who we think is going to be our final girl, she doesn't make it. Yeah. And, you know, and then everything changes. It's so creepy. Like, she asks, why do you want to know my name? And he says, because I want to know who I'm looking at. Like, that's so chilling. And like, it's such a great opening, and I love it so much.
I want to see what your insides look like. Then turn to page 64. Like, it's so funny because we went back. We just did our Didn't See That Coming, which will be coming out on February 21st. Yes. On the original Scream. We wanted to go back and revisit this film. And one thing is, like, when you watch the first Scream, Scary Movie fucking wrote itself.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, like,
absolutely.
The way that they did scary movie based on Scream was so fucking perfect. Like it was so perfect the way that they modeled that around it.
And Dewey. Poor Dewey.
Oh, Dewey.
Poor Dewey.
Some bitch. What about you, Mark? What's number 3 for you, my friend? I think we
Is he
have
frozen?
I think he's frozen. I was like, either that or he's still laughing really hard. But it is funny because like something that I never noticed in Scream, and it really irks me, and I'm kind of putting this out there, but you guys need to watch the episode anyway when it comes out. You have a scene where Sydney runs to the van, where Kenny's in the van, the cameraman, and he's in there, and they're watching on the tape, and they see Randy getting ready to get killed by Ghostface. Then 5 minutes later, she's got them both at gunpoint outside. She's like, "Fuck you both," and she slams the door. I'm like, Sydney, you just watched Randy almost get killed by him. It's obviously not the guy. What are you doing?
But everybody's a suspect.
Everybody's a suspect. So,
exactly.
Are you back, Mark?
Am I here?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear us okay?
It's choppy.
Yeah, it's very choppy.
Oh, okay. Let me try something right quick.
Okay.
We hear you clearly.
Okay, but how about now?
That's way better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, A Nightmare on Elm Street is my number 3.
The OG?
The OG, we don't talk about the remake. We don't talk about the remake. We don't talk about the remake. The original Nightmare on Elm Street because of the making of the glove and then the chase scene with Tina. It was just in the theme music and the boiler room, and it's just I don't know. It's like I always find something new when I watch this opening scene, and I'm 38, about to be 39 now, and I can always find something new when I watch the opening scene. That's just how iconic it is. It just sets the tone for the next 8 movies going forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is mine, number 3. I was scared somebody's gonna take it, but
No, not yet. What about you, Bobby? What comes in at number 3 for you, my friend?
Number 3, you guys already had it on the list. It had number 3 again. Like I said earlier, that scene with Georgie just calling for his life, and then Pennywise dragging him down. It's just, again, I was surprised because I didn't know how they was going to go with killing him, and we actually seen it. So I wasn't, again, like you, I wasn't the biggest fan with the arm stretching. I mean, even though it was creepy, I still was just like, But the moment when he did bite his arm and his face kind of like transformed, I was like, like, what is that? But yeah, that's my number 3. That's a great opening, and how they set it up was just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Great. Obviously, I thought it was a great choice too. So before we get to number 2, let's catch up on the chat real quick. William says Tourist Trap. Oh my gosh, that's such a good one.
That's a good one.
Stuff falling on him. And you're right, William. The most underrated PG horror film. I watched that movie for the first time on Fox 36 Toledo when I was like 8 years old, and it scared the shit out of me. And I'm watching it on regular TV, not even cable, like on antenna TV. Like, how the fuck is this playing at 2:00 in the afternoon on a Saturday? Where are my Ninja Turtles at? This is horse shit. Daniel says Texas Chainsaw Massacre original, the narrator's voice, camera sound, so classic. Absolutely. Lewis saw any of them. Charles, Final Destination, good choice. Not high enough. Ashley, temporarily canceled.
I figured it.
No.
I figured.
28 days later, it throws the viewer right into the confusion and horror. What a great film, too. Like I said, Jamie, yes, people have mentioned Ghost Ship, and we will be recapping the list in a minute, so we will be talking about that, I promise. American Werewolf, Slaughtered Lamb sequence, the Pentangle. I knew you were going to say that, Lewis. Me and Lewis just had a very long talk about American Werewolf in London, so great choice. Shaheem, Lights Out. Oh boy, this opening, just like the short. Diana scared the living shit out of me royally with her popping up and vanishing every time the lights went on and off. But that's a really good choice. I love Tourist Trap. Great opening sequence. Tourist Trap, not only is it an underrated PG horror movie, it's an underrated movie. Like, you want to talk about movies I'd love to see remade? that's at the top of the list.
Yeah.
I'd love to
Yes.
see what they could do with Tourist Trap nowadays, as long as they keep it practical. Like
Right.
the scene where he's putting the paper mache on her face, he's like, "Don't worry, your heart will stop." I was like, so let's get
Yes.
started with our number 2, and that would be you, my love.
Okay, number 2. I had to have this on my list because this opening is amazing. And it is Evil Dead, the remake. So yeah, so we already talked about it, but just the opening scene, because she's like running through the woods and you think that she is the one, you know, that's in trouble. They're like trying, you know, they capture her and they tie her up and you're feeling sorry for her. And, you know, she's like, "Daddy, where's mommy?" And, you know, he says, "You know where mommy is. You killed her." And you're like, "Oh, shit." And then she's like, I'll rip your soul out. And
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'll rip your soul
and
out.
she becomes demonic, and it's like, oh man. And you know, the lady behind her is like, "You have to save her soul." So they have to set her on fire and shoot her, and it's just an amazing opening. I love that opening.
Oh, sure, that excuse works in a movie, but you really set your kids on fire, and it's abuse.
I was just
I was saving her soul,
Yeah.
okay?
He's really a good dad, guys.
Okay, I've never set one of my children on fire. I just want to throw that out there before I get canceled, for real. So.
I hope not.
Yeah, we have CPS going on.
Good choice, though.
Thank
Good choice. Well, what about you, Mark? What's your number 2? Your silver medal.
I'm gonna switch it. I'm gonna switch my number 2 out. I had it originally set for Nightmare 3, but I think Bobby exuded a great explanation of that opening.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna replace it with Valentine.
Oh, good choice. It's about that time of the year, too.
Yes.
This is Daddy's favorite time of the year. We love horror movies, man. I love this shit. I love February horror movies. It's my favorite time of the month for horror. So
yes, I love. And I know it's like a lot of people probably know, like, oh, Valentine, that's kind of high up there, but you have to understand. This is when what's her name? Jesus, I'm tipsy right now. So whatever. What is the character? What's the actress name, y'all? Help me out here.
Katherine Heigl.
Katherine Heigl. I think she was at her prime, about to join Grey's Anatomy. So just seeing her, I was like, oh, okay, recognizable, likable. But when the whole chase scene with the Valentine killer or whatever his name is, and the most suspenseful part of the whole movie was when she put herself in that damn body bag.
Yeah.
It was like, why would you do that?
Dummy.
And she underestimated the brutality of this killer. And so it was like, when he was slicing up all the bodies and stabbing them and stuff like that, he specifically sat there and said, "No, I'm going to open up this bag and let you see where you fucked up at."
Right.
And I was like, and it was like, oh my God. And then we got the movie, which is still underrated, but yeah, Valentine. So
Valentine. Which is now on Shudder.
I love how Bobby was like, "Fucking idiot."
I mean,
that's
come
so
on.
awesome. So, Bobby, you want to give us your number 2?
Yes, my number 2 is Dawn of the Dead remake.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's
Dawn of the Dead. I had to throw in there another movie I've seen in theaters with a group of friends, and just everything just leading up to what we were going to get throughout the whole film. It was just, you didn't know what was happening, and then when we finally got to like all the chaos happening, and you know, zombies chasing after people and cars running into each other and explosions, then we get the credits and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh, so kind of like going back to Friday the 13th remake. It's just like, all right, so this is just the beginning. We're in for a fun ride.
Yeah.
And Dawn of the Dead is one of my favorite remakes, along with like Evil Dead and stuff like that. Like I love this film so much. So this is one of the best openings to me.
Well, and I love about the Dawn of the Dead remake is just like with Evil Dead, just like with Child's Play, they take the skeleton of the original, but they put their own flesh over top of it. That's what I love about it. It's not scene by scene. It's not a complete different film, but it has that skeleton there. But they put their own into it. So that's why those are 3 of my absolute favorite remakes as well.
I agree.
Number 2 for me is also how most people remember that Mrs. Voorhees was the killer in Friday the 13th and not Jason, and that is Scream. They're so, I mean, goddamn, this could have been number 1. When you think about not only how great Drew Barrymore is in this opening, but like you talked about earlier, my love, the fake out. You know, Drew Barrymore was doing talk shows and promoting. You know, you look at the poster even. She's one of the people on front of the poster. You know, and Wes Craven always had a way of reinventing the wheel, whether it be Nightmare on Elm Street, The Hills Have Eyes, The People Under the Stairs, Scream. He had this uncanny way of tapping in and saying, I'm going to do what everybody else has done, and I'm going to do it a little bit better. And I'm going to do something that's unpredictable, and I'm going to try to start something new again. And he absolutely did that with Scream, to the point to where we just got how amazing Scream 5 was, Scream 2021, and they've already signed on for another one. You know, they've already been picked up for a sequel, which, okay. But
we'll watch it.
We'll watch it for sure, but I would have loved for it to have ended where it did.
I think it ended well.
Yeah, just I don't want them to go back to Sydney and Gail. Just carry on with the new cast. But just be the end of Sydney and Gail. Because I love how at the end Gail was like, oh, I can't say anything because the movie's still fresh. No spoilers.
Yeah.
But before maybe Gail died, she said something crazy, or maybe she didn't die. I don't know. If you haven't seen it, you don't either. So, yeah, number 2 for me is definitely Scream. So that is everybody. Let's catch up on the chat. Chris Marshall, sorry I'm late, guys. Daddy duty. Can't wait to hear the recap. But I got it. I got to throw this out there. Peyton Grace Marshall was born on February 1st. My buddy Chris just had a daughter.
Congratulations.
So
Hey,
thank you for
congrats.
stopping, Chris.
She's beautiful.
She's such a beautiful little girl, buddy. And I'm so happy for you and Christina.
Absolutely.
We love you guys so much. I'm glad everything was fine. I'm glad she was healthy. She was a good 8 pounds, 4 ounces. I'm sure to Christina, that's not a good amount of weight, but I'm glad that she's healthy and everything's fine. My friend, you know I love you. You know I love Christina, and I love the kids, and I'm so glad everything's okay. Thank you for taking time away to come hang out with us for a little bit, buddy. Yeah, Jamie, that was one on the, for sure. If we're still talking about Tourist Trap, it was. Valentine, great choice. Jamie Blanks will be pleased. Catherine Newton's freaky. I love how this opening wasted no time introducing Vince Vaughn as the butcher, killing a group of kids in all sorts of brutal ways, like a toilet, wine bottle, and tennis racket. That wine bottle kill is one of my favorite kills of all time. When he puts the wine bottle down and then
that movie.
Breaks it. I did too. I thought it was really good. Number 3, Stepfather, with Terry O'Quinn cleaning himself up and getting ready to move on to the next family. Very nice. I own the Blu-ray set. Just came with a little Chuck Connors figure. Oh, Chuck Connors figure. That's awesome. Halloween, number 2, Halloween on most of the lives on Sledgehammer. This movie is mentioned. And yeah, we all talked about it so far, I think. I think we've all said it except maybe Mark. You basically. I'm going to have to find that one day. So we are now up to our numero uno. So obviously before we start, Mark, we'll have you start us off on this one. If you wouldn't mind, recap your list, start with your honorable mentions and go down to number 1.
I didn't have any honorable mentions. I just need somebody to remind me what number 10 was, because I was braced them off as the list as we went on. And I told you I'm tipsy right now. So I have The Lost Boys, The Hunger, Scream 2, Get Out, Us, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Valentine.
Okay. So what is your favorite horror movie opening?
This is like picking amongst children. But everybody has said it already. You guys said it already. It's Scream. And the reason why I have it at my number 1 is because I was spoiled. The opening weekend that Scream came out, people came back to school and told me every iota of that movie. It was just like, it was one of those moments where I didn't know that I was being spoiled. It was just like everybody just talking about it. But even though I went and rented it and watched it for myself, it was still effective.
Yeah.
It was still effective. And I believe that in some instances, certain things can ruin us. Certain spoilers can ruin an experience. But I feel like Wes Craven, what he did was that even though you were spoiled, it still pulled some emotion out of you. It still pulled some hope out of you. And just to sit there and see that she sat there and ran and she was almost there and her folks was right there, it just drives all that emotion out of you. It just drags it out of you, rather. It just drags it out of you. And so to sit there and see her get killed and then actually pull the face and saw the face of her killer, and that look of recognition is still haunting to this day, because like she knows who's killing her, unlike Lindsay Lohan, who had to find out for an hour and 45 minutes who killed her and her twin or something like that. But
I forgot all about that movie.
But yeah, Scream is my number one.
Yeah,
it's my number one.
What a perfect choice.
It really is.
Like I said, that could have been my number one as well, but my number one just affected me a little harder. So, what about you, Bobby? You want to recap yours and give us your number one?
Sure. So my honorable mentions, I had Get Out, Return of the Living Dead, and Urban Legend. And then number 10 was Child's Play 2. Number 9, Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Number 8, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Number 7, Ghost Ship. Number 6, Darkness Falls. Number 5, Halloween OG. Number 4, Friday the 13th remake. Number 3, It remake. And number 2, Dawn of the Dead remake. And number 1 is, like Mark, Scream. Of course, number 1. With everything that Mark had said, felt the same way. I remember watching this for the very first time on VHS because I was too young to go see this in theaters. So I remember watching this on VHS with cousins, and just everything what Mark said as far as her almost being there. Her parents was just like a few feet away, and they didn't see her, and seeing the face of her killer, and then actually when a mom goes out and just see her daughter hanging from that tree with her guts all spilled out. That forever, like, it burnt that image, like it's burnt in my head every time I see it. Like, it was just, I actually had nightmares just from that image there, which is crazy. So just the lead up to that very moment was just too much for me as a kid, and I just remember it terrifying me. So that's why it's number 1 for me. It's so good.
Like I said, it's a great choice. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's iconic for a reason. There's a reason it's iconic, and it's because it's so well done. So I will recap my list. Don't look, cheater, pumpkin eater. Honorable mentions were, even though I'm not a huge fan of the film, The Gallows, when you get Charlie being hanged. And then Maximum Overdrive. Honey, this machine just called me an asshole. Number 10, the OG Child's Play. Number 9, Friday the 13th, 09. 8, 1985, 86's House, the best movie ever. Number 7, It. Number 6, Evil Dead 2013. Number 5, the OG Halloween. Number 4, A Quiet Place. Number 3, The Collection. Number 2, Scream. And the number 1 horror movie opening for me ever, and it will never change, and this butthole already said it, Final Destination 2. That one for me, it's one, you're not a butthole, I love you. It's one that just, it scares me, man. Like, it really genuinely scares me to my core. And I could have added a couple of the other Screams, a couple of the other Final Destinations, but when we do lists like this, I do like to keep it one movie per franchise. A Nightmare on Elm Street was another one that was very hard to keep off that opening, but man, Final Destination 2 is just such an epic and absurd opening. It's like so crazy it just might be true. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it was. It was so over the top that it seems like this could really happen. You know, those logs breaking off and causing that pile up and watching people get burned, and it's just such a amazing opening to my favorite film in the franchise. I love Final Destination. I think Final Destination 2 really is the cream of the crop of that franchise. So that to me is my number 1, Final Destination 2. Nice. What about you, my love?
All right. I had 2 honorable mentions, The Ring 02 and The Conjuring. Number 10 was Lights Out. Number 9 was The Invisible Man. Number 8 is Ghost Ship. 7 is Final Destination 2, 6 Jaws, 5 Split, 4 It 2017, 3 Scream, 2 Evil Dead, and then number 1 for me is Halloween OG.
Yes.
I absolutely love the opening. I know you probably wrote that there.
I did, right?
You know,
See, this is why me and Ashley are best friends. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Well, that's the only way I get Bobby to come on me. I'm like, hey, Bobby, like, Ashley will be there, right?
All
He's
right.
like, as long as Ashley's there, I have no problem coming to hang out with you, Ken.
But I love, seeing it through Michael's point of view and his little mask, going up to kill his sister in the boob, stabbing her. And then he walks out and he has this knife, and his mom and dad are like, Michael, what did you do? Like, all nonchalantly, like, he just killed your daughter.
Michael.
Yeah. But I just love it so much, and it had to be my number 1 for sure. So,
yes.
yeah.
So that is it, guys. That is our whole list. Before we go, obviously, we want to, just like always, we want to open the chat. Tell us some of your favorites. Ask us some questions if you have questions for any of us. Before then, let us catch up on the chat. Flet lives. My buddy Kyle. Him and I will be joining him, not next Friday, but the Friday after, on his channel to count down our top 10 favorite horror video games, which
Nice.
I'm very, very excited about. So Flet lives down here, guys. Make sure you subscribe to them. Be ready to watch us live on his channel talking about our favorite horror video games. I'm very, very excited for that.
Yes.
Daniel, number 1, Hereditary. Watch it a few times till you see it. Top 10 horror film of all time. Can't argue with that, buddy. I love Hereditary. What an amazing movie.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite horror movie opening will always be the OG Friday the 13th. It changed my life. You can't argue with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made me so scared to have sex. William says, too, speaking of Dawn of the Dead, how about Zombieland opening with the rules and the zombies chasing everyone on the planet? I do love that.
Yeah, that's a good
When you're watching the girl from 4C, like the girl from 4C is coming over. Yeah, I love that shit. Rule number 1, cardio. Yeah. You ever seen a lion limber up before he gets a zebra? He's amazing. Woody Harrelson, he's so good in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing about that movie is they kill Bill Murray. It's a whole load of horse shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I wasn't a fan of that.
For those of you who don't know this about me, there's Ken Sledge of Sledgehammer Horror, but there's also Ken Sledge, the movie fan, and my favorite actor of all time is
Bill Murray.
I
I
love
literally
Bill
had a
Murray.
dream that we met him and like you were crying and stuff.
My head would explode.
It was crazy.
my head would fucking explode.
Put it out on the universe.
Yes.
When Woody Harrelson drove up to that mansion and it said BM on it, I was like, oh, it better not be. And you see Bill Murray, and I was the same as Woody Harrelson. I was like, Bill fucking Murray. I love
What
it
is your
so
favorite
much.
Bill Murray film?
Yes.
If I had to choose my favorite Bill Murray film, I know this sounds cliche, but it would either be Ghostbusters. But if I'm talking non-horror at all, I'd probably say A Life Aquatic.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you'd say
Ooh, okay.
Groundhog's Day. For
Groundhog
sure.
Day's it's up there. Scrooged is up there.
For me,
Yes.
For me,
Yes.
Scrooge.
Broken Flowers is another good
Yeah.
one, where he's looking for his long lost daughter. That's another great one. Really, the guy does nothing wrong to me. Like every movie he's in, even if he's just got the littlest role, the minute I
Yeah.
see him, I'm like, oh, the movie's perfect. You know, like even the newer zombie movie he did, The Dead Don't Die. I thought that
Yeah.
was fun. Like it wasn't great, but I had a lot of fun watching that movie. So Bill Murray, absolutely hands down my favorite actor of all time. Shaheem says number 1, Bride of Chucky, the whole gothic tonal change, Jennifer Tilly's whole appearance, her walk in the distance, putting Chucky back. I love Bride of Chucky.
Oh,
Yeah.
me too. I love Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah. Here was me being absolutely right. Shaheem, my honorable bonus, Jason Lives, the open.
Oh,
Yes.
what? Why did we pick that on our list?
Listen, Bobby,
Right,
what's
wow.
wrong with us? Oh my god.
Yes. CJ Graham is not only one of my favorite Jason Voorhees, he was one of the first Friday the 13th guests I had on my first horror movie. And
Ooh.
CJ Graham is just a kind
yeah.
soul. He's a sweetheart. So
Mhm.
absolutely love him. Muhammad, great
Wow.
live stream. Awesome guest. Thank you guys. And they are so awesome. You should subscribe to that franchise. You should subscribe to their channels.
And he's not even drinking.
Right now, yeah, and I'm not even buzzed, Mark. Like you're rubbing. I'm getting a contact.
Listen, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna continue this once we get done, but go ahead.
Jada says kind of surprised Scream 2022 didn't make anyone's list. Also, Friday the 13th Part 6. The only reason those two didn't, J-Deb, is because I like the Scream original better than 2022, and I like the 09 better than Jason Lives. I'm telling you, if I could have done same movie franchises, Child's Play 3 would have been on this list. A couple different Fridays would have been on this list. I just like to keep it one movie per franchise. That's the reason it didn't for me. Yeah. J-Dev Scream 96 is his. My girlfriend says my default pick is funny looking. Nah, you're pretty.
I'm chilling, Holmes. I love it.
Mine's a skull. Don't feel bad. Cube.
Yes.
Cube is such a good movie. Like Cube was Saw before Saw was Saw.
Yes.
That's a great choice, William. It's the thumb. Coraline with the finger. Oh, that's another really good one. They're rebuilding it to make Coraline. That's awesome. So like I said, guys, we want to thank you all so much for coming out and spending a Saturday night hanging out with a couple of my good buddies, my wife and I, doing these live streams. I know it's just like, oh, it's just a bunch of people sitting around and talking horror, but this is seriously one of the best parts of our week.
Oh, yeah.
We look forward to this all week, not just because of the friends we get to hang out with, but you guys in the chat as well, chatting it up with us. I've made a lot of great friends just because of these chats. And then, you guys hit me up on social media. Jason, J-Deb, he's one of my good friends. We talk all the time. So, we appreciate you guys becoming part of our family and hanging out with us here. Real quick, Jamie says, I have to give David Lynch credit for the short but effective opening of Blue Velvet. The all-American town, red, white, and blue pan down the picket fence, down to the ground to show the bugs. Very nice.
Yes.
The horror community is life. I can't argue that. Besides my children and baseball, this is the best part of my life. You two, you're considered.
I was like, dang.
It's like Ashley, baseball, horror, the kids.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, wow.
They're on all of that.
They are. My kids are my life. But seriously though, guys, thank you so much for coming and chatting with us. Before we go, do you guys have any updates about? I know you guys said that you're Bobby, you're just getting the channel back, but do you have any episodes coming up soon that you can tell us about?
Yeah, hopefully, if the universe lets me, because editing can be a bit sometimes, but I plan on doing a Valentine movie review. That's done, but again, editing, it could be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And that's all I have going on right now, coming up next. And again, a new episode of The People Under the Skiers coming out on Monday.
So
awesome.
Make sure you guys are checking that out as well.
Yes.
What about you, Mark? Do you have anything special coming up for us?
Well, tomorrow on Horror Movies and Beyond, I'll be talking with the Oprah of Horror, Evotress Littles, about VHS 94, which was amazing. It made up for VHS 3. What was it called? Anyway, but we're gonna talk about that movie in detail tomorrow. So on YouTube.
Nice.
I just have to say, if you're looking for more guests, Ken and Ashley, definitely Ivotress Littles, Horror Movies and Beyond on YouTube. She's amazing. Y'all will make an awesome collab. Like, I feel like she's very knowledgeable. She knows her horror. She's just amazing. So if you looking for anybody, check her out.
When this is done, Bobby, will you text me her information? I'll hit her up tonight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And I agree, Shaheem. Ashley supremacy.
Oh.
Totally agree.
Yes.
Great live, like always. Thank you. I know it's not horror, but I'd love to do a favorite wrestlers of all time. Dude, if you're talking like WWE, WWF, I'm fucking in.
All right.
I'm so in, dude. Like, all episode will be me just do like,
well, I'm sure a bunch of people will tune into that.
I'm so in, dude. I don't care if it's on my channel or your channel. Let's set this up. I would love to do that with you, buddy. I think we'd have a great time. Always a joy to be here. Have a blessed night, everyone. You too, Shaheem.
Good night.
Great show tonight. Yeah, okay, cool. Jay, text me, and we'll get to the bottom of this. Mark and Bobby, don't go anywhere. Everybody else that's been here, thank you. We hope you guys have a wonderful night. If you're anywhere in the Midwest or on the East Coast, please continue to be safe out there. I know these storms have been very hard. The South is getting a little bit now, too. So if you're anywhere where these storms are hitting, please only go out for essentials. Be safe. Take care of yourself. The last thing we need is anybody losing their life or a limb to go out and get a fucking jar of peanut butter. So make sure you guys, make sure you guys are being safe. We want to see you guys here next week. We want to make sure your kids see you tomorrow. So make sure you guys are being safe out there. Until next time, guys, keep talking horror.
Stay what you are.
We'll see you guys soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.